Welcome to the party. I'm Sam Ekstrom, Locked On Sports Minnesota. Vikings passed on Jaire. What other washed corner is out there?
I'm Luke Braun of Locked On Vikings, ready to disappoint myself at name drop again.
Hey, this is Arif Hasan with Wide Left. Luke Braun disappoints me every day.
What's happening? Luke Inman at Luke_Spinman. Oh, this old thing? Yeah, my new Locked On Sports hoodie I wear during heat advisories just to prove a point.
Locked On Sports Minnesota podcasts. It's endless Minnesota Vikings talk with the diverse voices of your local experts. It's time for the Minnesota Football Party. It's your guys hanging out talking next level Vikings football. So join in with Arif Hasan, Locked On Vikings Luke Braun, Superior Sports Talks Luke Inman, and Vikings insider Sam Ekstrom, plus the biggest names in Minnesota football for the Minnesota Football Party. And it starts now.
What's happening? Welcome in. Happy Monday. Happy summer here on the Minnesota Football Party and Locked On Sports Minnesota. It's all part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Thanks for making us your first watch or listen of the week. For your second one, got to make it Locked On Vikings with Luke Braun. Great daily content over there. Find our audio in the Locked On Vikings podcast feed, and now find our video streaming live on Locked On Vikings and Locked On Sports Minnesota. So many good ways to watch and listen here at Locked On. Luke Inman sporting the Locked On hoodie. Luke Braun, again, Locked On Vikings. Arif Hasan, Wide Left. Glad that the whole crew is here today on a show that we'll get into. Vikings were a top 10 offense and defense last year. Will they maintain that status in one or both of their units? Jaire is off the market. Any other free agents the Vikings could sign? And did they make a mistake not going all in on the former Packer? Plus, name drop. It's back with a twist today. Stay till the end of the program. A twist on name drop. We're brought to you by FanDuel. Make every moment more with FanDuel. New customers, of course, can bet $5, get $150 when that first $5 bet wins. FanDuel. All right, let's dive right in. Minnesota Vikings last year. Top 10 offensive unit in points. Top 10 defensive unit in points. I think we have high projections for the Minnesota Vikings this year. And again, it was 9th in offense, 5th in defense to be specific. Which of the two is likelier to sustain as a top 10 scoring unit? Which of the two is likeliest to drop out of those ranks in 2024? Inman with the hoodie, take it away.
Yeah, it's tough because JJ's so set up for success here. I mean, better than most or any really first-year starting quarterbacks you'll ever see. It's kind of tough to draw it up any better for the kid. All the improvements they made in just one offseason. You got two good running backs now, a totally revamped, improved offensive line. You got the best wideout in football, a first-rounder in Addison starting to hit his prime a little bit, former top 10 tight end, 2 years removed from the knee injury as well. Plus, you got the KOC factor, too. Keeps building this kind of incredible pedigree as this quarterback whisperer. So there's a lot working in his favor there, but I still feel like even with all that, until we see it, right, until you see your quarterback of your offense go out and produce, put up some juicy, inflated stats week in and week out, similar to what Sam Darnold did more weeks than not, it's just tough for me to pick the offense over the defense because the defense, correct me if I'm wrong, top 5 unit last year. We're talking about can they both sustain top 10? Defense was top 5, and they should be, by and large, running it back with, the same system, same core philosophies, a couple of huge improvements on the defensive line from a player personnel standpoint. And even if they slip a little bit, I still feel better about them staying in the top 10 than I do in the offense because, again, staying in the top 10, I mean, for the offense, I think they were around, depending on what stats you're looking at, 9, 10, hovering right around that bubble there. You're basically asking them to replicate exactly what they did last year with virtually no room for error because, again, they're just barely inside that top 10. So defense sitting there in the top 5, a little bit more wiggle room, I guess is the best way to put it. More room for error maybe, plus the improvements on the defensive line. I feel better about Flores and the defense kind of running it back.
Play the sound, play the sound, play the sound, play the sound.
Hold on. On-air production meeting. Also, Arif, turn yourself
Wow.
up a tad, and boom, what do we have?
Netflix announces season 2 of Quarterback. It includes Joe Burrow, Jared Goff, and our close personal friends to all 4 of us, Kirk Cousins.
They're
Again.
the trailer for this.
Yeah,
This is-
again. Which and
He
this
let him
time we
back
get to
in.
see him- we get to see him benched this year.
I'm surprised the Falcons let him back in.
Wow.
He's just never. Well, no, it's premiering July 8th, so it had already been filmed the previous.
Yeah,
season, so
but
it's
like
not
after
for the next.
after the Mariota thing, after Mariota
Yeah.
got benched,
Oh,
it's
you're
like,
surprised
this is-
Netflix let quarterback back? Okay, that makes sense. Yeah.
Who
Yeah, the
is
Falcons
announcing
let
this?
Netflix back in. I mean, that's so cursed. Like,
Wait, who's
don't let them
announcing
do
this
a
then?
documentary again. That's a guarantee to get your quarterback benched if you're in Atlanta. Clearly,
I think we've known
Uh,
this for a couple months. That's what I'm saying. This is
it's-
not.
this is
new.
definitely news to me.
It's July 8th, so that's the news then.
Oh,
They had a pretty exquisite trailer.
I also did not know this, so
I didn't know either,
Okay.
by the way. So
Okay, breaking news. 3 out of 4. 3 out of
Yeah.
play
4.
it again.
Bad.
Play the sound again.
yeah, PHT seemingly was familiar with this. So
okay.
No,
some of
they-
us were not.
Some of
broken.
us are not on
Yeah,
the Netflix beat, maybe as much as we should be.
yeah.
Netflix had like a parody trailer where they said announcing the new season mascot, and they were gonna like follow the mascots, and then Kirk.
Okay, that would rip.
Go
That's
find
great.
it. It's funny. And
They
Kirk
do that on
goes,
April
Just a bunch of like
"Guys,
stoners.
why don't we just do quarterback again? And then they announced Burrow. Who was it? Burrow, Cousins, and
Goff.
Who? Goff,
It's
yeah.
it's.
Yeah,
But-
I
and
thought I
then
saw
some
something
Netflix-
about
same guy.
pulling out of
Some
this.
They
Netflix
just-
bigwig at the top was like, mascots though.
Can we just get some like
Mascots.
tall white pocket passers who can't move? Yeah, gotcha. It's fantastic. It's just 3 of the same guy.
They're
I love it.
uncontroversial.
Yeah. So yeah, I love that Kirk has never finished a season of quarterback, and also that Atlanta has never had a full season of that quarterback.
Wait,
So we get more Kirk in the the training room, the pools. We get all that stuff now.
no, Kirk finished his first season of quarterback. It was Justin
Oh, I thought he was
Jefferson.
hurt. It was
No,
Justin
he was
Jefferson.
Oh, we're
22
thinking
was
JJ
Kirk's.
wideout.
Yeah,
Okay,
JJ missed
Chiefs
a bunch
game.
of the
Chiefs
yeah,
game.
and that was the year
Yeah, okay.
Kirk got hurt too.
I was mistaken because Kirk because they did a bunch of rehab, but he was playing every week. But he was doing
Yeah.
a bunch of rehab.
Right.
They
He
featured
That was
featured
just-
that
Took that
injury.
big hit. Took
He
that big
did
hit in
absolute
Washington.
heck. Yeah.
Jefferson's
Washington.
episode.
Yeah, just blown to heck.
Just absolutely like
Darn.
less ribs than he started with.
Yeah, it fricked in the ribs. It's bad.
Just
Diminishing
fricked.
return. Yep.
Arif, will the Vikings be a top 10 offense or defense this year?
I don't know that any of us are going to have a different answer, right? Like, I think Inman's right that you've got a lot less wiggle room for the offense than the defense. I think changing a quarterback changes things pretty substantially. I will add this, though. The Vikings were 5th overall in success rate, 2nd in EPA per play, but 5th overall in success rate defensively, and 11th overall offensively in success rate. And that tends to be a little bit more stable than like raw EPA per play. And we were talking in the last episode about, what might regress, right? And the things that we talked about were both things that impact EPA per play a substantial amount, but not success rate. And I argued that defensively, right, they're probably going to regress a little bit more in terms of turnovers, but I don't think that's going to impact success rate. And I think that even if they regress substantially in turnovers, they'll be a top 10 scoring defense. Whereas offensively, maybe the red zone percentage will go up, but they're going to need to enter the red zone more often. And if they're not as successful, even with the improvements at all 3 offensive interior line positions, it's just not going to materialize in as many points as maybe we're used to seeing. So hopefully, neither of them, drop out of the top 10, obviously, but I do think that it's substantially more likely for the offense with the change at quarterback, and given that the success rate wasn't itself top 10.
I feel like the variables that could sink the offense there's like less, but they're like it's the biggest one. The quarterback is the biggest possible variable. And then the other variables are like they got a rookie at left guard, they got a couple injuries that you're like hoping people come back from.
It feels
like
more stable. Right.
It's a little more stable. Yeah. And the variables on defense are like Theo Jackson is going to just replace Cam Bynum 1-for-1. And we're just hoping that works out. And we're also just kind of hoping we get a lot out of Mekhi Blackmon and Isaiah Rodgers. Like I feel like the cornerback group is still a pretty big concern and something, and we'll get to it. Like they kind of should do something about that. And some turnover on the D line. Like there's more variables. The thing about it with the offense for me is like the world where the offense regresses really hard is like a lot easier to explain, where the world where the defense regresses really hard is like, oh, Flores ran out of juice. And it's like a little harder to imagine that. So like I believe a lot in JJ McCarthy and in all the decisions they made on O-line. I like Donovan Jackson a lot. I think the injuries are going to be fine. Like individually go through them all. I think those will all be fine. But I do see like the world where the offense regresses being a little easier to imagine myself being wrong about.
I think we discussed on Friday how a very reasonable regression to the mean would be the Vikings creating less or fewer turnovers next year. But also like saying that they were 5th in points, like I don't know if that even expresses how good they were in neutral situations last year. Like if someone could break down the first 3 quarters of defense, right? Like pre-garbage time defense. That was
remember those first 4 or 5 games, underdogs, I believe, against San Fran, Houston game, even week 1 after the CJ Ham fumble. I mean, the defense was just so lights out. It was like every channel, ESPN daytime show you were watching, the stat was like the Vikings are on this historical pace right now defensively for what they're putting up. Yeah, it was very impressive.
Wasn't there a whole thing with like garbage time filters with the defense too, where like if you took out the bottom like 5% of plays where the Vikings had the game that much in hand, it like went way up. But even if you didn't, they were still like really good. It's just that whole Packers game occurred with like a 97% win probability.
So in just EPA per play, no garbage time filters or anything like that, they were 2nd overall defensively. Now, we do have garbage time filters for like offense, defense, EPA per play. So I can do that right now. I can't do it by like first 3 quarters or anything like that because I no longer have access to PFF Ultimate for some reason.
I think garbage time does the function that we're looking for though.
Essentially, yeah. And they're first with friggin' bullet. Wow. It's quite a distance in EPA per play with the first. So number 1, Minnesota with minus 0.97. Number 2, Philadelphia minus 0.087.
Wow.
And then Houston, number 3, minus 0.069.
Not
and typically
close.
like, it's substantial. Like the difference between Houston and Baltimore at 8 is the difference between Minnesota and Houston. It's like enormous.
Yeah.
And again, this is with Bullard and Tillery as your interior. Don't want to hate on them, but like not the most renowned.
It sounds like you're hating on them.
You hate them, huh?
Griffin and Gilmore at corner.
Yeah.
Not the most renowned cornerback group of all time. It like the arrow is pointing up to such an extent. I'm almost waiting for like what's going to set this back. What is going to knock this defense back a peg? And I think Braun hits on it. It's probably your suspect.
The names in the secondary.
Probably.
I mean, Theo Jackson is not Cam Bynum. Maybe he is. Maybe he's going to break the heck out. And it turns out they made an awesome decision to like just sort of promote him without giving him any competition or any serious, like, here you go. But that to me feels like a really, really big, like unknown, not to mention the unknown of how is Isaiah Rodgers going to do in his first time ever starting ever. He's been a rotational guy his whole career. First time ever being a CB2. And what do we get out of Mekhi Blackmon?
Yeah.
That's a lot of question marks in the secondary, especially when, the teams that made you struggle last year were the ones that had like efficient, like tightly coached passing games. And one of those teams is in your division. And now that offensive coordinator went to another team in your division. are you going to be able to keep up with that? Or are you just going to die to dagger over and over and over again?
And 17 games scheduled now to one or two of these guys gets dinged up to just anywhere in the secondary.
Yeah, you're like not far from like regular Jeff Okudah minutes. Like,
yeah.
Yeah, that begs the question.
That's fine.
I mean, that might happen just by virtue of a camp battle too. Like,
right.
Okudah season.
Yeah, so we're Gucci, actually.
Yeah. More than okay with that. Who needs Jaire Alexander? Well, I will pose the question. If the Vikings need to sign another corner, did they miss the boat on Jaire? All that next, the Minnesota Football Party. Well, the NBA season is sadly over, but summer sports are in full swing at FanDuel. Baseball approaching the halfway point. High-stakes soccer action. Yes. MLS, all of that available with your wagering dollar at FanDuel, the FanDuel Sportsbook app. If you're already following the action, why not make it a little more thrilling? WNBA, the Lynx are a blast to watch. They've got the Fever coming up in like a week from tomorrow. It's going to be awesome. Get the new daily promotions at FanDuel, track your favorite matchups. They give you a lot of good information to inform your bets, like same-game parlays, a lot of good live wagering options as well. You can feel like you're part of the action. New customers can bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if that first $5 bet wins. Open the FanDuel app today or visit FanDuel.com/lockedon to get started. All right, we neglected to address this. So failed to neglect actually a
new
band.
band.
We are currently failing to neglect.
Failed to neglect goes pretty hard, yeah.
We addressed it. No, we didn't. We didn't talk about this Friday, so let's get to it today. Jaire Alexander, who, became the apple of some Vikings fans' eye, saying, go get this guy in free agency. He can take it, to his former team. He signs with Baltimore for a super reasonable prove-it deal, like $6 million. And
I think like $2 million of that is in incentives too. Like I think it's
right,
really
$4
like
million with $2 million added on.
Yeah.
It's hard not to see that working out for Baltimore because whatever they touch turns to gold. But let's first address Jaire. Vikings, whether they wanted him or not, they don't get Jaire Alexander. Would you have wanted him at that price, Arif?
At that price, absolutely.
At that price,
I think that's great. I don't think he's available for the Vikings at that price. He had suggested that he had taken maybe the smallest money deal that was available to him because he wanted to play in Baltimore, and especially with Lamar because they're college buddies, right? I would take him at that price. It sounds like he wasn't available at that price, and you needed to offer quite a bit more than Baltimore offered in order to bring him into the building. The Vikings have an advantage versus other teams, right? Because they've got such excellent facilities. They've got, that really high NFLPA scorecard, which we know after talking to free agents does impact the way that free agents perceive the Vikings. So would you be able to get him for less than maybe some other teams would have had Baltimore not made the offer that they did? Probably. Would you have been able to get him for $4 million plus $2 million in incentives? Probably not. But I think just as a bare response to that question, I think that he is very likely to, despite how much I dumped on him like 2 weeks ago when we talked about this, very likely to return more than $4 million in value if you sign him. So I think, he's washed from what he was. That doesn't mean he's worse than the average corner.
If it's double that, if it's $8 million with $2 million incentives, I think we still would have looked at that as
we would have had a discussion for sure.
Yeah. Braun, where do you stand?
I think if they did that, I would have felt fairly neutral about it because I don't really see Jaire Alexander moving the needle much. I just kind of thought it made a lot of sense and it was something the Vikings would do. But I was like, this won't change a lot for me. I kind of think he's cooked. But yeah, the price would be right. So yeah, that would have been fine. My thing is more they need someone. Jaire was not the only option. Bringing back Stephon Gilmore, Shaq Griffin, I think is still out there, right?
Is it? I thought he signed. I think he signed. I will check.
I know he visited with Seattle. I don't know if that turned into anything. I still think trading for Jalen Ramsey is on the table. There are a couple of corners out there. They're all these kind of old, I don't know if this guy is what he used to be kind of names, and that's all you get at this point. But I do think you need to add one of those to the room before I look at this room and think of it as something that you don't have to hide schematically, which I trust Flores to do, but I don't like that he's going to have to do it again for the third year.
Yeah.
I think I'm wrong. I don't think Griffin has signed.
He is
So,
still out there. That would work for me. Like,
Yeah.
it needs to be somebody. It didn't need to be Jaire specifically. In fact, out of all 4 of those names, I think Jaire might be the one I like the least. But now that he's in Baltimore, I'll be proven wrong, like you said.
I know we're going to have a smooth segue into the free agents left, but there's still names out there, and I'm with you, Braun. Like, I haven't seen or felt like Jaire is the 2018 or 2022 Pro Bowl version of Jaire in a while.
Like, give me someone on the eve of camp like Gilmore was last time. Maybe it'll be Gilmore again. I'd be fine with that.
I know Gilmore was torn on whether he was going to play or not. This is February, and I don't think we got a firm announcement on it, which makes me think he is available to be signed.
Maybe waiting till he doesn't have to do anything. Maybe skip a couple days of camp. Wait till the pads are on, And
he's like, "Oh man, Jaire, why'd you hurt the market like that for us summer signings? Why'd you do that to me, man?
For us summer signings."
I feel like at this point in your career, you care a lot less about
that. Yeah. Free agents remaining. I think we had our eyes set on. I certainly did. Asante Samuel Jr. The latest on him,
like still out there, right?
Oh,
that
man.
I can find.
His knee must be.
Yeah,
just a firecracker went off inside a crab leg. Like,
I thought it was his neck, but maybe there's a knee thing too.
Is it his neck?
I thought it was an upper body.
Either way, it must be bad.
The Eagles, this is so classic Eagles. Kind of like Jaire to Baltimore. The Eagles are reportedly interested in Asante Samuel. I'm sure it would work.
That would be so cute.
Howie Roseman sold his soul.
Pick 6 us in the wild card game.
I was
just
gonna say that.
Yeah.
T-Jack. Jinx. So Asante Samuel maybe off the table.
Young QB.
Jaire's obviously off the table. Let me toss a name. Rasul Douglas.
Yeah, sure.
It's a name. Yeah, sure. We need bodies, man. We just need a body, dude.
Yeah, it's
a body. How about Mike Hilton? You still out there?
Great.
That I'd be stoked on. I don't know why he's still out there.
Yeah, give me Mike Hilton at the top of that list. So, Asante Samuel, number 2, pending the physicals and the injury. And Rasul Douglas, yeah, sure. Why not? Again, just need a warm veteran body back there that can just hang around in man coverage, in this Flores system. So I'm fine with any of them. Again, like Braun said, none of them are like really going to move the needle a ton. But it's going to make you sleep a lot better at night, just knowing you got another veteran back there in that quarterback mix.
I think part of the reason that it hasn't been Mike Hilton, which I would have loved, is that the Vikings do want Byron Murphy playing inside as much as possible. So they've kind of focused their acquisitions on getting outside corners so that they don't have to kick him to the outside.
And I think of those 3 names, I think Rasul fits that bill a little bit more. Asante Samuel, a little bit smaller. I mean, there's just not a lot of these big-bodied physical boundary corners left, but there's still guys that know how to cover and play in the NFL. So any of them would do. Maybe it's not the ideal dream fit or scenario, but they got to bring in somebody. And
it would be funny if they signed Asante Samuel and got another 5'10" corner, because it's like it's the land of 5'10" and then Dwight McLaughlin. Like,
first it was none of them can rent a car because they're all under 25, and now it's you can't ride this roller coaster, dude, because you're just not there.
It's not there. You can nowadays rent a car under 25. It's just egregiously expensive, from what I'm hearing. I don't know. I'm not under 25. That's a them problem.
PhD, didn't Douglas retire? No, Douglas is still available.
I believe you are thinking of Ronald Darby. Yeah.
100% he's still available. The latest report I saw on Douglas is that he is not optimistic about going back to Green Bay. He doesn't think he's going back to Green Bay. He obviously was there for 3 years, was pretty good for them, and then went to Buffalo for part or all of last year. Was not as good in Buffalo, but turning 30.
Is he saying that because he's like, I don't foresee myself, stooping so low as to sign with Green Bay? Or is he like, yeah, Green Bay's not interested in signing people, me included? Like, I think what was the context, do you think?
Don't even have the full context, more of just a headline, but I'm reading it as does not think, he's not optimistic about going back to Green Bay. He must have done an interview.
That's like today.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Don't think that will happen, buddy. Asked by a Packers fan on social media whether he'll sign with Green Bay, and he says, "Don't think that will happen, buddy."
Oh, that sounds like he doesn't want to go back. That's what that.
So corner is like number 1 with a bullet, what's keeping us up a little bit right at night. How about wide receiver 3? I pulled up the free agent list. There's some names.
Speedy,
Amari Cooper.
We got Amari
Keenan,
up there.
Gabe Davis. There's dudes.
Jesus.
There's dudes. Or safety too. Justin
Keenan
Blackman
is a little too far from me.
I think
That's
Keenan might be
That's
time for him to bring him out to behind the barn and put a blindfold on him.
Look,
it's time, buddy.
Wow.
you could have said send him upstate. That would have been
Upstate. We saw what happened in Chicago there, man. You can't do it anymore.
it's not farm upstate time, it's barn and blindfold time.
Yeah.
All right, help me out here on some of these names. Gabe Davis, is this accurate? No, he's not. See, this is Spotrac is playing games. Gabe Davis is still signed, I think.
No,
right?
I'm on NFL.com.
No, I'm pretty confident the
Davis is out
Jaguars
there.
let him go. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, they cut him.
Wasn't Gabe Davis
Yeah.
Yeah, they paid him a
Pretty
bunch
good.
of money.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
they
they paid
lost
him
a bunch of money. They paid a bunch
Release
of
him just
guaranteed
14
money.
months after signing him. They
Did
released him
absolutely
in May.
nothing last year. Yeah.
Oh, that's why everybody missed it. That's a weird time for a cap casualty.
Mm-hmm.
Do it.
Well, it was like shortly after the draft, right? Like I think that was kind of the reasoning.
Oh, yeah, I get it because I don't know if they went into that day thinking they would walk away with Travis Hunter.
Yeah.
How about
DJ
safety?
Chark.
Justin Blackman or Justin Simmons?
Marcus
Simmons
Williams
is probably
too.
cooked. Williams has been psychologically cooked for a while.
Williams actually like major Jaire vibes on Williams, like injuries and getting benched, not playing to end last year, but only 28, like exactly Jaire vibes, except he's coming from Baltimore. So they replace one malcontent with another potentially.
I think that just like cosmically, Marcus Williams needs to spend a washed year in Minnesota.
Yeah,
I think
Right.
that just needs like the universe needs that to happen, and I don't need it to matter at all.
Do you-
I don't even need him
do
to make
you-
the team.
Do you
Like, it could
think
be
it
that
would
late in
be like in camp, people are like lining up to get signatures and stuff like that. Do you think it would be worse for him for Vikings fans to thank him, or like how do you think that should be?
He's got to own the bit.
You
right?
know,
If he's coming to
a
Minnesota.
difficult part of the healing process. I think. Yeah,
Okay.
you have to face that demon.
You gotta accept
play
that.
in US Bank Stadium a bunch.
Right.
Really, like I think that would be part of it would be therapeutic, maybe difficult, maybe painful, but ultimately better for it.
You sound like somebody who, when confronted with the existence of trigger warnings, says that exposure therapy is the best way to deal with PTSD and then inflicts that on other people. That's what you sound like right now.
Inflicting PTSD on other people, yeah.
Okay,
If
sure,
you're-
great.
if
I
you're
just wanted to make
Acts
sure.
of cruelty, yeah, I'm into it.
If
Yeah,
you're Marcus Williams and you're in the autograph line at camp, you're trying to glad hand, you're trying to reach out to the new fan base, trying to get them to like you. Someone
Right,
hands
and they're
you
like,
a
"Thank
photo.
you so much."
They hand you a photo of the Stephon Diggs in midair, Minneapolis Miracle.
yeah,
You
no,
got to sign it
okay.
without hesitation. Like
Yeah,
in
yeah,
his
you gotta-
position,
Heck
you
yeah,
got to sign
this
that without
happened.
hesitation. Laugh, smile, say you're welcome. Like you
You're
got to
right,
own
right.
it 100%.
You owe me. You owe me.
You owe
Yeah,
me.
right. You owe me.
Inside job.
It's like when Brandon Bostic signed with the Vikings for a hot sec.
Great
It's just
talk.
like it made
That was
it made
fantastic.
sense.
Yeah.
That was fantastic.
Yeah.
But Luke, you mentioned I think Julian Blackman. I would be totally down.
Yeah. Yeah.
I would
guess
I would be down for those guys because there's just like Theo Jackson has not proven much publicly, but it sounds like he's proven a lot more privately to them,
Yeah,
and they
internally,
really
yeah.
believe in him. So I wouldn't hold out hope for those kind of signings.
It sounds like Blackman tore his rotator cuff week 1 and still played the entire season. Played 16
Jesus.
games.
Tough. Gotta get some tough guys in here.
Yeah, grit.
How old is Blackman?
27. Yeah.
Ah, nailed it.
I feel like he's
Fine.
been in the league for like
Feels
40,
like-
but I think I just merge him with the other.
There's
with
other
Julian
people
Blackman in
named
my
Blackman.
mind.
Yeah,
Just
I think
you.
that might be it.
I'm like, didn't that guy get drafted in like 2050?
I remember writing
2012?
stuff like, "Hey, this guy's like a breakout rookie for the Colts," and it wasn't that long ago. So I think you are just merging other.
I just
Blackmans.
feel like
I
the
am.
Colts drafted like a top first, second, or third round safety like 4 out of 5 years in a row, and it was just tough to get them all. Like, all right, is this one good? No, it's the other one that's good.
No, it's the other one. Our bad.
My bad.
Is it a concern that the Colts said, we'd much rather pay Cam Bynum lots of money rather than sign back Julian Blackman? Is that a
I would
problem?
also rather have Cam Bynum than Julian Blackmon,
Yeah.
and also, so I don't think that's a concern. And second, I don't trust the Colts front office to make good decisions, so it doesn't really.
Could be an injury thing
bother
too.
me.
Again, tore his rotator cuff. You know, that could come into
go get a
play. Maybe
healthy
hey, he
free
wasn't that
agent.
good. Well, I wasn't healthy either, or vice versa. It could be, we don't know how he's going to heal and the rehab process and all that too. So maybe a couple different factors in there, but yeah, you're not wrong. I mean, definitely, I don't think anybody's going to say they wouldn't have Cam Bynum over somebody like Julian Blackmon.
Yeah. Did not allow a reception against the Vikings this year. Missed 2 tackles. When we return, I've got one exercise before we get to name drop. I want to compare these Vikings to the 21 Bengals who had a young quarterback, Joe Burrow, made it to the Super Bowl, trying to find the path for the Vikings. What can we learn from the Bengals of 4 years back?
If they lose in the Super Bowl this year, that's going to be so good.
That's next.
No, anything but that.
Game time.
So I went looking back at the 21 Bengals. Hold on. Let me give Kale Chips a little love. Thank you, Kale Chips.
There you
Thank Sean
go.
Cook. Thank you. We love game time. We love you. 21 Bengals made the Super Bowl, lost in the Super Bowl, gut-wrenching loss in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, it was like
Bengals
3 Aaron Donald plays in a row at the end there. Right?
Oh,
Yeah, Aaron Donald just decided the game was over. That was so insane.
Team on
Somebody
his
just
back.
started sewing his gold jacket during that third one. Just like, all right.
I think often about his celebration where he just starts pointing at the.
Yeah.
That's so
It's
good.
so
That's
sick.
so
What was the
good.
last one? Was the
The
last
one-
one?
the fourth
The last
one?
one, he
Oh my
like
God.
rodeoed Joe Burrow to the ground, and he had
Hey,
to
it was
throw up a
I'm wearing the
Crazy.
shirt from that one.
Oh,
nice.
right. I forgot that you identified with that.
Yeah, I was there.
Let's call
Or
it
I
a
was at
city.
Radio Row
Yeah.
that year. I
Sure.
was not at the game. But I made a Skyline chili burrito. That was cool.
Was it good?
It was awesome. It was amazing. Put fries in it.
And wait, you put fries in, and it had
Yeah.
spaghetti, right? Like not like rice.
No, I figured the tortilla would replace the spaghetti as the carb. Which I
Oh,
homemade
so
the
it
tortilla.
was a burrito without additional carb.
It was a California burrito with Skyline chili instead of like ground beef.
Oh, it feels like you're not like fulfilling that. Anyway, Sam.
I was merging. It ripped. I
yeah,
would
like
do it
the
again.
Blackmans. Got it.
Yep.
My favorite of these bits is Sam.
Poor
Sam
Sam.
just either soaking it up,
We're
trying
just
to
going.
figure out
I could just
Do I
feel it was time to
reply?
get out of that one.
do I get in on it or do I just let them go and wait till they're done? And then every time
Oh,
he tries to pop
PhD
in,
with an
Orzo, I see you.
incredible. Yeah, PhD
Yeah,
with an
I see the
incredible
vision.
suggestion there. Yeah, put orzo in to bridge the pasta and the rice. Outstanding.
Yeah,
lateral
for sure.
thinking
I mean,
there.
I ate
Yeah.
a lot of that chili with spaghetti later because I made a bunch of it.
Mm.
I was trying to do a fusion thing.
And then didn't you like hunt down
Classic
Patrick
LA.
Peterson and get a scoop from him?
I did
You
get a
were-
scoop. It was wrong.
What was the scoop?
oh, I remember.
I forget. It was something about coach. It was about like who the cornerback coach was going to be because that was right around when they were like we knew O'Connell would be the coach, but he couldn't officially sign yet because he was
Right.
still coaching the Super Bowl. So we were kind of trying to get scoops on like who the position coaches would be, and I forget who it was, but it was like an old position coach of Patrick Peterson's was a candidate, and he was like,
Strong candidate. Yeah.
yeah, it was like a strong candidate, and he like kind of thought that was going to happen, and it didn't.
Outstanding. Good work, Luke.
Yeah.
Investigative journalism.
Hey, at least it was like all on camera, so like I'm not going like my sources tell me like no, you just heard him say it, and he was wrong. Don't look at me. I just asked.
21 Bengals try to get this back on track. They
Good
are
luck.
seventh in offense, 17th in defense. Rookie quarterback started 7-6. Famously beat the Vikings in week 1 in overtime. Finished
They
strongly.
were underdogs in that game, if I remember correctly.
They were, or the Vikings were. Bengals were.
The
thought the
Bengals
Bengals
were
were-
not supposed to be good because they were
Yeah,
They
like,
were
yeah.
not.
they drafted
They were
top
not.
Because they
five
were
that
just
year.
coming. Yeah,
It was that
Well,
fourth
well,
and
because
one,
Joe
right?
Burrow had
Fourth
gotten
and one.
injured in the second half of that season,
Fumble
and
in
we were just
overtime.
like that. They just don't have
Fumble in
the
overtime.
goods.
Cook.
Yeah.
Dalvin Cook
Yeah.
fumbled
In
overtime.
Bengals territory. I like the
Yep.
40, 45.
Yeah.
Yep.
Questionable, like very close call if I remember. But Bengals finished winning 3 out of 4, then got hot in the Super Bowl, won a bunch of one-score games, beat Kansas City twice that year. What can we learn? What can we learn from a team that turned over the keys to a quarterback who did have more experience in his first year than McCarthy did? But I view that team as a bit of a doppelganger as to what the Vikings are trying to attempt to do this year. And I think a lot of it was on Burrow. Like, Burrow just proved to have...
Are we name-dropping the 21 Bengals? Is that what's happening?
But how long would that last? How many could we... Okay, let's go around.
Oh, God.
Go. I guess we are.
It was your idea.
Nick Vigil.
Joe Burrow.
Jamar Chase.
T. Higgins.
I don't know, man.
Tyler Boyd. Come on.
Nixon.
I'm not thinking that hard about
Chris Evans, rookie running back.
Captain America. Riley Reef, I think, was on that team, right?
What?
Pretty confident.
That could be correct.
I looked up
Yeah,
their
So I can look at it.
rookie.
Oh, yeah, because you're out, so you could just check.
Yeah, I'm out. I can judge this.
Joseph Asai, I think his name was. I always want to say Joseph Adai, but that's not it. So the kid from Kansas, 3rd round pick, Joseph Asai, we'll say.
Riley Reef was correct.
Hey, let's go. Is Joseph Asai correct?
Don't look that up. Don't look that up. Why would you look that up?
No.
Speaking of former Vikings on that team, Trey Waynes.
On IR or something? I swear to God, he was
McPherson, kicker. McPherson.
Well, if McPherson was Asai, because
I would argue. Yeah, I would argue that IR counts. So check the IR.
Hold on. He might have been 2022. No?
I'm pretty confident.
I think I'm just stupid. I'm not finding him.
Okay. PhD says Osai drafted 21 but didn't play, so I assume he was on IR. Is it Inman's turn?
Yeah.
My turn.
Oh, there he is. Yep.
Mike Hilton.
Yep.
Pretty confident.
Yeah.
Okay. That means Cheeto was on that team, right? Chidobe Awuzie?
Yep.
Von Bell.
Yep.
Oh, good one.
Oh, there's a really funny one here.
Vontez, perfect.
No.
I think you're a little too early there.
No, absolutely
A little too late.
Yeah. Went too far back in your Bengals knowledge.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
I should rewatch that 2015 wild card game. Oh my God, that wild card game was so good.
Jesse Bates.
Yep.
Mentioned Von Bell. Jesse
Nice.
Bates, right?
Jermaine Pratt.
Yep.
Ooh.
Nice.
Is it Inman or is he out?
I'm
I think
toast.
he's
out.
out.
He's out.
Yeah, okay. I'm just going to keep on picking the partners of Weber Sandpicks. So Logan Wilson.
Yep.
Nice. Wyoming.
This is crazy.
I remember because Jermaine Pratt, like the year before, was like, or no, the year after was like, that was our chance. So like,
Well,
it was a whole
wasn't
deal.
wrong.
Yeah.
Didn't he
I
just
think this-
sign somewhere else?
I think this is too late. Dunlap. Carlos Dunlap.
It's a good guess.
Ooh, yeah.
There's no
Good
way.
guess. Yeah, no, incorrect.
Okay.
No, this is the year they brought in like all of those free agents, which means current Bengals malcontent Trey Hendrickson was on that team.
Oh, he was.
That is true.
I would not have guessed that.
That
I would
is
have
true.
thought-
Yeah, because they brought in Hilton and Hendrickson and all those guys like that year.
They spent around their rookie quarterback. So
Yep.
is there a real
Apple
comp
in a
there?
big spot? That was the one I was waiting for.
I would argue that the Bengals.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, Eli Apple, Super Bowl corner. I think he got like minutes in that one too.
Yeah, I'm pretty confident he did.
Wow.
So Sam,
there's one other big parallel, Sam, with this, which is that this was a team with a really strong reputation for not being able to win in the wild card round of the playoffs.
That's right. Yeah.
I feel
And then
like when I look at their
and suddenly it was a streak.
Well, I look at their playoff path, and I mean, you get Derek Carr and the Raiders, who go look at that offense. I mean, okay, Darren Waller, I think, was still in his prime.
Yeah, they were kind of fun that year, the Raiders.
Darren Waller.
But like Brian Edwards,
pre-divorce Darren Waller. Yeah.
Hunter Renfro, yeah, like kind of a lucky draw, a little bit. Not lucky, but just like okay, like that.
Right.
Well,
they
got the best
Rams, right?
They got the Ryan Tannehill team.
This is
as
not McVay and Stafford and everybody else, right?
Ryan Tannehill Titans the next round too.
Well, that's what I was getting.
And they were the
like,
1 seed Titans. That was the peak of that team.
Exactly what I'm saying.
That was
the
yeah.
1 seed.
Ryan Tannehill was averaging
year.
like 9 yards an attempt, and everyone was like, "What is going on?" What?
Yeah,
So who this year
Tannehill-
in the
else
NFC
did they
is
have?
the Ryan
Derrick
Tannehill
Henry.
1-seeded Titans? What Ryan
Jared
Tannehill? You know who it is? It's the Dak
It's
Prescott Cowboys.
It's the Purdy Niners.
Oh, that's good.
The San Francisco
Wow, there's
Purdy
a
Niners.
lot of quarterbacks
Purdy's
in the
been
NFC
1 seed
that
too
we-
much. It's got to be Dak Prescott, who's and the Cowboys, who have never gone anywhere, suddenly being the 1 seed, but then also
Yeah.
getting bounced right away.
Yeah, and everyone just being like, "What is going?" Well, but people like Dak Prescott. Like, there's like a contingent of people that think he's really good. Whereas Ryan Tannehill was just a surprise. We were all just like, "Hey."
It'd have to be like Kirk
the
Cousins
world.
Falcons.
I just feel like, the AFC has changed so much. You're not going to get like a random Ryan Tannehill led team into the 1 seed anymore. Like the AFC is just so stacked now. So
For
I
sure.
feel like they kind of got lucky a little bit, to be totally honest. Like a kind of a fluky playoff year there, where you get the Raiders, and then your 1 seed is the Titans, and then you still got to go put up or shut up against the Chiefs in Arrowhead. So that's really where they
Kyler
made all their
Murray
money, but-
having a good second half of the season. That's
Wow.
that's the Ryan Tannehill.
That's it.
Is Kyler
That's
Murray
the
having a
bounceable.
second half?
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
That's it.
Go listen
Yeah.
to Locked On NFL this week.
Yeah. So the
More on
Vikings
that.
they go back to the scene of the crime last year in Arizona. They play the actual Cardinals this time. They get the win.
Don't
And,
don't bring up the game in Arizona for Luke Braun. Come on. The guy's still mad about Vikings fans.
I would
Yeah,
argue
I'm not
that
mad about them going to Arizona.
the
mad at
Bengals were, I think, a year ahead of schedule to make the Super Bowl when they did. Are the Vikings, would they be ahead of the schedule, or would
That's
this
tough,
be an on
actually.
schedule?
The Super Bowl itself, maybe, but I do think that the way that they're built, they gotta be a serious answer for the NFC. I think.
Yeah, I mean
they
they
gotta
were
be
just in the playoffs as like
They won 14 games.
almost second seed, right?
You
Like,
can't
know.
be 8 and 9 and be like, but they're up and coming. I don't think that works right now. But I don't think you need to put them like all the way to the Super Bowl for it to be to feel like they're on the right. That would be pretty really, yeah.
Yeah, but like they were up there with the Eagles and the Lions record-wise fighting for these seeds, right? So to me, I think that even though you've got this turnover at quarterback, it would not be as big a surprise for the Vikings to make it, especially given the reputation that Kevin O'Connell has versus I don't think that, Zach Taylor was carrying that kind of reputation. I don't think it would be as big a surprise for the Vikings to make it, but certainly it would be slightly ahead of schedule. But I think that it's just like, hey, the Vikings have been they've had some pretty good records over the past couple of years. It's kind of time.
Yeah.
Young quarterbacks that have reached the Super Bowl in recent years. Purdy, certainly. We can look at that Niners team and for a future episode. Maybe Goff getting there with the Rams in 19.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Does that mean the Vikings
Anybody
should
else?
sign
Maybe
Josh
Mahomes?
Johnson? Is that the play? Sign Josh Johnson?
Hold on,
Always.
isn't that the previous year when Johnson had to play? That was the
Yeah,
year
well, because
before.
he had to
Yeah.
play. Yeah.
Yeah.
I suppose
I
Jimmy
thought
G
that
was
was fun.
kind of young, wasn't he? Jimmy G? How old was he? I know he's on the second contract, but 25?
Boy, that is a good
There's
question.
just no way
Kinda
he's
young.
25, was he?
In a way, Carson Wentz
26
in
maybe?
2017. It was his second year.
There you go. Yep.
He was on the
Yep.
MVP pace before he got hurt.
Yeah, he was on that team. That's true.
He's the guy. Yep.
He's the guy. Yeah.
Second-
They had him like 11-2. Like
I think that history would suggest for a quarterback, and we've gone over this before, for a quarterback of McCarthy's pedigree and draft status, there's really nothing that should hold you back in your second year from being an excellent quarterback, except maybe having like a knee
Except an
injury
injury in your
Yeah.
first year?
Except,
Yeah, for sure.
except a knee injury derailing your first season.
yeah.
But other than
But
that,
besides all that,
How was the play?
yeah, right.
This is like the national media point whenever they talk about the Vikings. Whenever you hear the Vikings come up on like broad NFL shows, is like, well, no excuses. The pressure's on because they've got everything around this kid, and Kevin O'Connell, said no to Sam Darnold and Aaron Rodgers, and he's going with this guy. And if it doesn't work out, well, that's like the national point that they make, which I think is kind of silly. Where they're like, look at this great supporting cast and then selling it as kind of a bad thing. It's kind of a reveal, I think. But that is sort of the point, right? Where it's like there is no real reason to look at this offense the way it is constructed and know if JJ McCarthy struggles, you don't know what the excuse is not baked in. And it has been baked in for the last couple of years with Kevin O'Connell, where if they did fail, you'd be like, yeah, but it was Sam Darnold. Like we all kind of went into the season thinking that. Or yeah, but Cousins got hurt. They did like a Josh Dobbs thing. Like we know. They don't really have that on this offense. So if this offense does struggle, it kind of can only be for one reason.
Name drop with a twist next.
How fast can you think? It's time for the most chaotic game in the Viking podcast sphere. It's Name Drop.
Jonah Williams.
You got a sample of it in segment 3. Name drop is the game where we go around the horn. Each player gets 5 seconds to answer. If you miss, you're out. If you say a duplicate, you're out for the round. I have 5 prompts today, and here's the twist. It's not a name. It's not a name.
Sam.
It's team drop today. Team drop.
Oh, so it's not a person's name. It's a team's
It's not a person's
Like
name. It's a team's name. A team name.
Team in a
We're
team
still
season?
filling the okay.
Or like a franchise in total.
It is
actually,
an NFL football team that the Vikings beat in a designated season.
Oh, okay. So we don't have to be
Okay.
we don't have to say 21 Bengals. We could just say Bengals.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
If they beat
Interesting.
a team twice in the division, you can't say them twice. You only get to say them once.
Oh, man.
We will start more recently and work our way backward. We will start with 2022 as our first prompt. 22.
This is not for me. I am gonna
This
get
is
cooked.
2022.
Oh,
2022.
I'm gonna DJ this thing.
a little jazzy.
I just
All
need
right.
somebody to kickstart me. Like, what happened week 1 again
right.
in 2022? Just kickstart me.
Right.
I will preface every one with this. I will tell you the season record, 13-4.
Okay.
Inman, why don't you lead us off?
Cardinals at home.
Mhm.
Kirk Cousins ran that rushing touchdown, beat him by 8.
Beautiful.
Correct.
Only
the
knew
Green
that
Bay
because I was there. Because I was there. That's it.
Green Bay Packers week 1.
Correct.
Chicago Bears some week.
Week 5. Amir Smith-Marset game.
Hey, let's go.
Right.
Let's
With
go.
with the strip.
Justin Fields. Make a little comeback there at the end. Okay. Lions.
They beat the Lions that year.
I can't believe
Yep,
we got this deep.
That was the come from behind
Yeah.
win.
That
with
was the
KJ
last
Osborne.
time we beat the Lions, by the way. We haven't
Oof.
beaten since.
Oh, we're doing just wins. Okay.
Just
Yes.
Just wins.
Yeah,
I mean, the greatest game ever played, the Buffalo Bills.
Ooh.
4th and 18.
Oh boy. Colts.
Hold on.
Walk off winner.
It's not your
Arif.
Yeah, Colts walk off winner.
Dude.
Inman.
Yeah, no, I got it.
I'm there. I'm
Giants.
good.
Giants.
Yeah.
Shoot.
Yeah. Another walk-off.
DJ. Okay.
Oh, what other fraudulent things happened?
A lot of fraudulent things
A
happen.
lot of fraudulent things happened in that one. Did they beat the Panthers that year? I don't think so.
Incorrect. Braun is
Damn.
out. Arif and
Once again,
Inman remain.
disappointed in myself. Shoot.
Man, shoot, darn. Falcons.
That sounds right.
Incorrect. Inman takes the point.
Wow.
Wow.
I had Dolphins locked and loaded.
Oh
Dolphins,
my God!
Dalvin
I forgot
Cook
the whole.
in
Braun,
Miami.
you went to London. You went to London and you saw
I went
the
to that
Saints-
I completely
doink.
forgot.
Saints game.
The double doink.
Completely forgot. And I forgot the whole AFC East.
That's where my mind went. Once you said Bills, I was like, okay, think.
I forgot
Just think.
about the. Yeah. Okay.
Dolphins,
Goodness gracious.
Commanders, Pats, Jets,
Commanders.
and that's it.
Commanders,
Oh,
yeah.
Netflix
That game
quarterback.
where ref
Commanders.
decks Cam Bynum and everyone says we got lucky. That's crazy.
Yep.
All right, good job, guys. Let's work our way back to another pretty successful season, 2017. Start with Braun.
The Baltimore Ravens.
Yes,
You said 2017. Okay.
2017.
Okay. Reef's up.
Man, Buccaneers.
Case Keenum's debut. Yep.
Yeah.
Actually, no, that was Pittsburgh. Sorry. That was
Yeah, Pittsburgh was the
Yes.
debut.
No,
But
Buccaneers was Teddy coming back
That was
late in the season. Or I'm sorry. Well,
that was not.
I just get.
that was yeah. No,
I got the wrong B team.
Because the hopium for that game, after Case Keenum had a bad game, I think, against the Steelers, the hopium was, well, Case Keenum's always good against the Buccaneers. And we're like, what? And then he was.
And then he was.
And then he was.
And he figured it out.
Yeah.
Is it Inman?
I'm a little worried about this. The Linval scoop and score with the oxygen mask, Eagles. Was that 2017?
They did play the Eagles later that year, but they did not win.
They
That
did
is-
play the Eagles later.
that
That
is incorrect.
famously did not win that one.
Famously did not win.
You're 1 year off.
I
You're
I
right.
kind of tipped it, so I guess I'll say the Bengals.
They started that year with Bradford against the Saints. They won.
Correct.
We haven't said the Packers yet. Aaron Rodgers collarbone.
Correct. Anthony
That was
Barr.
going to be my next one. I was like, I
Body
think I
weight.
remember that.
Body weight rule.
I think they split against the Bears. So I'll say the Bears.
Swept them, actually.
Oh,
Swept
nice.
Nice. Browns in London. I'll get one London game.
Yes. Correct.
Right, that was 2017. Oh man.
God, I was going to say Browns. I was thinking the Stefanski loss. That when
Right.
we played Stefanski, it was a really not fun, low scoring game at US Bank.
I'll go with the Falcons again. I don't know.
Yes.
Can't go
Yeah,
wrong
Correct.
with the
14
Falcons,
to
I feel
9.
They're at that one.
Grind out game. Yep.
I think they split against the Detroit Lions. I think they got them on Thanksgiving.
That is correct.
Well, I think we named all the other NFC South teams, so I'll just go with the Panthers. Hopefully they beat them.
That was the
they
Cam
lost.
Newton run
Cam Newton.
that
Oh.
beat them. They lost to
Oh, Everson Griffin called with a false start.
I was just going
I had
through
one
who
more.
did they play that year. I was like,
Add one more. There is a
Pretty-
beautiful game against the Rams with Adam Thielen housing a bubble screen.
Oh yeah,
oh, that's right.
running away
because
from three dudes, left
Yeah.
side. Left,
Zimmer didn't
left
have trouble
sideline.
against the Rams until the very next year.
That was the year. That was the game that made Sean McVay go back
He
and
was
be
like,
like, "I gotta
yeah,
figure out this defense."
Yeah.
and you only had one team left, Washington. They beat Washington after the bye.
I'm
Really-
always gonna forget
Oh,
their
wow.
games against Washington, man.
really
It's-
good.
Oh
really good offensive
yeah,
game. Thielen went off. Yeah, that was a lot
they
of
beat
fun.
up Kirk Cousins in that one, I think.
and that's what convinced them.
Yes.
And then
Yes.
they were like, "Well, no, they all fell in love at the Super Bowl that year."
Yeah.
But no tampering
right.
occurred.
Of course not. You just fell in
We're
love with the
doing-
city of Minneapolis.
That's all it was.
Luke,
Where
in
everyone else was
one-
complaining.
In like -10.
Yeah, everyone else was complaining about how cold it was, and Kirk Cousins was like, "I can play here." Yeah, sure, man.
That's definitely what happened.
1-1. Another notable season. The 12-4 2009 Vikings. Start
Oh,
with
boy.
Reef.
Oh boy. All right.
This is going to be tough.
Wow.
So who's first? Is it Luke?
You.
It's a Reef.
Me? Oh, revenge game against the Packers.
Good one.
The Miracle. Niners.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful. I have extremely strong memories of listening to them blow out the Seahawks with Paul Allen on the radio. Beautiful.
Killed them.
This is right before the playoff Lions, so I'm gonna pick the Lions.
Good guess. Beat them twice.
I know they lost at Soldier, but there's no way they lost both of them. So Bears.
Yes. 36-10 at home.
They
I
should have
believe
saved
week
a
one
couple of
that
those
year.
points for the Monday night game.
I think week 1 that year was the Browns, one of the greatest Adrian Peterson runs of all time.
Yeah, the stiff arm.
Right. Oh, that was outstanding. Was that also? I'm gonna reserve that one. All right. I believe they lost to the Cardinals, but that does mean they were NFC West. So let's say they beat the Seahawks.
Oh, Braun said it.
I said it.
What? Oh my God!
He had the memories of listening to Paul Allen.
Oh, that's right. Rams. Am I good?
Inman.
They had a crazy game with the Ravens at home. I'm assuming they won just because it was the magical year. I'm not 100% though. Those games with the Ravens,
Missed
always
kick.
seem to be crazy.
Those Ravens.
There was a
Hauschka
game-winning kick that they missed, that the Ravens
Tucker?
missed in the Metrodome.
Hauschka.
I don't think it was. Yeah,
Hauschka.
Hauschka. So it has to be the Bengals then.
Correct.
Yeah.
30 to
Wow. I think I'm out. Rams.
10. Yeah, I don't
Cowboys
know
or
if
Rams.
that
Cowboys or
Arif
Rams
might
was
have
my
tipped
guess.
that one for you, but
Yeah,
that's
I did
correct.
tip it. I
He
was
did-
trying
he
to
did.
save
That
my
was what I
spot.
was gonna
Yeah.
say.
Yeah.
Are we just talking regular season?
No, I mean he named the miracle. Oh no, that wasn't.
No, we're not just talking regular season though.
Yeah, I think you can name anybody.
Oh, Cowboys.
Yeah, Cowboys. Yeah.
Big. That's big.
Yeah, I think I'm out. I'm Cardinals because they play the Cardinals every other year. Cardinals.
They lost the Cardinals.
They lost.
Famously,
But they
I
did
believe there
play
were
the
some arguments on the sideline in that one.
Boy, there couldn't have been
Yeah.
many left. I feel like
I
we-
remember
we say the
them losing
Lions.
to the
I couldn't.
Cardinals.
I was gonna say the Lions, but I couldn't remember if it was said yet.
That was like
No,
my
you-
second one.
You did.
Okay. I would've been wrong.
I think you had one left, and I think it was the Giants in week 17.
That's right. Oh my gosh.
Oh, I wouldn't have remembered that.
17. I would not have remembered that at all.
Yeah, 44 to 7
because-
to get the 2 seed.
I'm trying to remember, like, there was, like, a returner in that game, like a Giants return. I don't think it was a return, but there was, like, something about the Giants returner. Was Ruben Randall in that game? Jesus.
Ruben Randall. Oh my god.
What a pull.
Time to go in a PFR rabbit hole.
That was a Braun point. So 2 to 1. Braun, Inman, 0 for Arif.
Oh my God, they won that game 44-7.
Wow.
Just cooking the
team
crap out of someone.
Demolishing. All
That
right.
team was so fun.
Didn't pull Brett Favre. I guess they kind of needed it. I remember they needed it for the bye.
They needed help. They needed the win and help, and they got the help.
So wait, hold on. Was 2009 Pants on the Ground, or was that 2010?
Yeah, that was pants on the ground
9.
2009.
Okay, yeah.
All kinds of fun in the locker room.
Ugh.
All right, this might be the toughest one. 2004, 8-8.
Jesus.
Come on.
Oh
man.
my
8
God,
and
this is
8.
gonna be hard.
This will be
Mm.
short. Inman's got to start.
Bears.
Yes, correct.
Playoffs count, right? Because they didn't beat the Packers in the regular season, but they beat them in the
Nice.
playoffs.
Nice.
I'm gonna assume the Lions.
Yeah, I got him twice.
Yeah. All right.
That was the missed extra point in Detroit. The Lions missed an extra point from 20 yards that would have tied it.
Cowboys.
Season opener.
Season opener.
If I did my math right, they would have played and I hopefully beaten the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Yes.
Yes!
Yes. Good job.
Okay. Well, that would tell me that they
Right.
played a bad Houston Texans team, right? So Houston Texans.
Overtime. Marcus Robinson walk
Wow.
off.
Okay. So I got
Wow.
the Colts or Titans, and I'm
Good luck,
flipping
baby.
a coin here.
Ooh, I remember that Colts game.
Titans.
Yeah, you don't want to bet against Peyton Manning. That's correct.
Yep.
That was Peyton Manning's best year.
Peyton Manning Monday Night
good.
Football. Crazy Randy
Just-
Moss game there, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Surely there's a Lions game.
Yeah. It looks like you lose.
Oh, has it been said?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was thinking too hard about the AFC South.
Arif, you're still in. Yeah.
Yeah, I am still in against all odds. That was not one of Eli Manning's years, and you mentioned the Cowboys. So I'm going to hope that they played the Cowboys because it's a divisional thing and not like a seeding thing. And so I'm going to say the Giants.
That would have been Manning's rookie year.
They lost that game.
They lost to rookie Eli Manning?
Badly, 34-13.
That defense was something else.
Throw
man.
the whole defense away. Oh, my God.
Oh, yeah. That defense was something else.
Last answer on the board, I think, was the Saints. Big Dante game, Big Moss game, primetime game, 38-31. I think that was the last.
Before a
Never
good
would've got
Saints.
that.
All right.
Never would've
Never
got
would've
that.
Last option. So it's 2-2. Arif
had
can
no
play
shot.
spoiler. And we go back to we have to do this. The 98
force a
season.
tie.
Gotta do 98.
Gotta do
Ooh,
98.
baby. Okay.
You've got probably not, I guess not 15, but 13 to 15 options here.
Mhm.
Let's start with Braun.
Week 1 Buccaneers.
Such a
Thanksgiving Cowboys.
There you go.
fun. Lions.
Yeah.
Just roll through them. Yep.
Freebie.
Yeah.
There was definitely some Monday Night Packer action.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I'll just go with the Bears.
All right. You got the whole NFC Central.
Yep.
There was
Easy
a
one.
Saints. There was definitely a Saints game that year.
Correct.
I believe they hung 50 on Jacksonville that year.
Went to
Correct.
that game. Yeah.
Penultimate.
Oh, you were at
game
the
of
oh,
year.
that's fun.
Yeah.
Titans/Oilers?
Very good. Very
Wow.
good. Yeah. Final game.
A Washington game was in there, I believe.
They're playing Washington a lot in these historic seasons.
Right?
Norv Turner coached Washington team. They crushed them to go to 6-0.
They took out the Cardinals in the playoffs.
They did.
I can't remember the playoffs. Oh no, well, except for the one game. Did they play the Giants? I'm gonna go with the Giants.
Incorrect. The Reef is out. No
Okay.
Giants game on record.
I
Down to the
remember-
Lukes.
I remember towards the end of the year they played the Ravens somewhere in there.
Yep. Bunch of kick return touchdowns in that game, I think.
Oh, fun.
Oh,
There's
man,
so many
what were the
wins today. How
divisions?
can I screw this up?
Oh no, what were the divisions? Bengals.
Correct. Oh, that's big. That is so big.
What a pull!
How many are
I
left?
dig this.
There
music.
can't be many
This
left.
This is nice.
Yeah, we're vibing.
I think there's one. I think it's
There's
Inman's gotta
one?
throw a Hail Mary here.
Okay. I already said the Cardinals. That was usually my go-to. My other one is Falcons, which they didn't play in the regular season.
How they do in the playoffs against the Falcons? Do you
Really
think?
good, really good, dude, really good. Lost to the Bucks, won the Bucks. We've done all those. Dude, I gotta throw a dart up. Cowboys, we already said. Niners? No idea.
Incorrect. The final remaining answer
Was it the
were
Browns?
No, the St.
Oh,
Louis
no.
Rams. Week
The
2,
Rams.
they
Week
tackled them at the 1-yard line.
Oh,
As
right, because that
time
was the
expires.
offense. Oh my God, that's right. It was the greatest offense that year versus the greatest
That's
offense next year. Jesus.
Wow.
Wow.
Man, that was
Man.
heated. That was good.
Oh,
That was
tough.
fun.
That was a
fun.
good one, Sam. That
Yeah.
was fun.
oh, that was crazy. Yeah, I was uniquely unsuited for this one, and I still had fun. So this was a great one.
I actually got a dub on this. Oh my god.
Yeah, well done. Well done.
Has it been a bit for you to get a dub on name drop?
On the football party at all.
Just winning
Oh,
anything
good.
for Luke on the
Yeah.
football party, just in general.
Oh man.
Yeah.
I'm a factory of sadness over
lost
here.
Yeah. Lost bets. Lost.
Luke Braun is a winner. Braun
All
is
right, well,
a winner. Thanks for playing along at home.
I guess I'll have hot wings tonight or something.
I'll run a combine or something.
Yeah. Get it out of my system. Yeah.
Oh, Back on Thursday, Minnesota Football Party returns. It's on Locked On Vikings YouTube channel, Locked On Vikings audio feed, Locked On Sports Minnesota as well. Appreciate you watching, listening, commenting, and subscribing. Wide left, Arif Hasan, Locked On Vikings, Luke Braun, postcasts with Luke Inman. All the Twins games getting recapped every single day. I'm Sam Ekstrom. Thanks for watching. Talk to you next time.